Hey, what is going on, guys? It's DK back at you with another video here to break on the 4-game NFL Wildcard slate. A couple things before I get in the video. If you're new to the channel, my name's DK. I make daily videos talking about NBA DFS as well as NFL DFS. I'm also here, I'm also running a weekly $20 PayPal giveaway on my channel. How it works: all you have to do is leave a like and a comment in the video. It's one entry in the giveaway. Max one comment per video. So it started with my Monday night NBA video. We'll go throughout the week. We'll end up my Monday night NBA video at the end of the week. So however many videos I've uploaded for the week, I'm going to give away that many times. So if I have 10 videos uploaded for the week, I'm going to give away 10 times. And again, the winner receives $20 PayPal for myself. But with that out of the way, let's jump into the video. So sorry, I know I've been a little bit slacking here on the NFL content, but I'm going to have a consistent content out here for the playoffs. So let's talk about this. 4-game slate wildcard weekend. We got a millionaire maker, which is pretty cool. They haven't done that. I think it's the first time they've done a millionaire maker for the playoffs. But before we get to players and their prices, let's take a look at some numbers here. So we got 2 games Saturday, 2 games Sunday. First couple games here are Bills-Texans sitting at 44 over-under with the Texans favored by 3. We got Titans-Patriots sitting at 44.5 with the Patriots favored by 5. We got the Vikings and the Saints sitting at 49.5. In the Dome, the Saints favored by 8 points. And then we have Seahawks-Eagles sitting at 45.5 with Seattle favored by 2.5 points. But yeah, let's just jump into it. So we'll start with quarterback. And we got Russell Wilson at the top at 6.8K. So just reviewing this, reviewing the slate, it's a lot of the quarterbacks are very, very similar priced, right? We have Russell Wilson at the very top at 6.8. And then Tom Brady is actually the cheapest quarterback at 5.8. But yeah, Russ Wilson at 6.8K, I think is a pretty solid option. This is, I believe, the second highest over/under. Yeah, 45.5, second highest over/under. They've lost obviously Chris Carson, Rashard Penny, so I think they might be asked to rely on Russell Wilson's arm a little bit more. And the reason why I do like targeting Russell Wilson is because he is a guy that can get you a rushing touchdown, right? He's not like a Lamar Jackson. He's not gonna have like 100 yards rushing. But he is a guy that can get you like 20 to 30 yards in the ground and a touchdown. And again, like I said, they're the 2 top running backs out, so I think they could be asked to rely on Russell Wilson a bit more. And at 6.8K, I think he is going to be a little bit more contrarian in the slate, but I think he is very much in play. Now, Drew Brees at 6.6, I really like him at this price. Drew Brees at home is just a thing. In the Dome, the Saints are favored by 8 points. This is the highest over-under of the day. He's got his go-to receiver in Michael Thomas. Obviously, they got KAMARA. And Minnesota's defense has really been struggling. So I think Drew Brees stands out as the best quarterback play, in my opinion, right now. I just love his upside here. And again, we know like him at home, his upside is a lot higher. So I do like Drew Brees a good amount. I think he is my favorite quarterback right now at that price. Josh Allen at 6.5 is, I think he's okay. He hasn't flashed a lot of upside recently, but he is a guy that, does like running the ball a little bit. He's got probably the most rushing upside. Maybe him and Deshaun Watson have the most rushing upside on the slate as far as quarterbacks go. This one also being played in the Dome, which is good. That is a boost, playing indoors for sure for fantasy, for DFS purposes. I think he is more of a contrarian option in my opinion. I don't see, if you're making one lineup, I don't see myself getting there. But like I said, I think he is viable as more of a contrarian option. Deshaun Watson at 6.4K, kind of the same thing. It's good that it's at home in the Dome, but this is not really the best spot against the Bills. Bills are pretty solid defensively, so kind of the same thing. With Josh Allen, I think he's more of a contrarian option. I do like that both those guys have rushing upside, but right now I'm just leaning more towards Drew Brees there at home. Let's see, Ryan Tannehill at 6.3. Don't see myself getting here. I know he's been really solid. Last 4 games, 31, 25, 23, and 17 fantasy points. But on the road against the Patriots, I don't see myself getting there. So I'm going to pass there on Tannehill. Carson Wentz, I think, stands out as, I think he's going to be probably the most popular quarterback play of the day at 6.2K. He is, the third cheapest quarterback, but he's been really good. And, Philly has just been beaten up by injuries. So, with running backs, even with receivers, so they're, probably going to have to rely on, Carson Wentz maybe a little bit more through the air. And we do have Miles Sanders questionable as well. So, again, if he gets ruled out, another situation where they might have to rely a little bit more on his arm. And I think he is going to be one of the most popular, probably the most popular quarterback play. So, if you're playing cash games on the slate, I think Wentz is a really solid option. I'm going to lean slightly towards Drew Brees for $400 more over Wentz, but I'm perfectly fine if you land there on Wentz. Kirk Cousins at 6.1K, I think makes for a pretty good option as well. Now, he hasn't been great recently, but this is a game where it should be good game script for him. Saints favored by 8. It's in the dome too, which is a boost for him. Anytime players playing in the dome, it's just a boost for DFS purposes. And we do have Dalvin Cook back, which I actually think is a little bit of a boost to Kirk Cousins. So I think that's going to open up the pass game a bit more if they can establish a run. And again, it should be good game script, right? This should be trailing. So I think Kirk Cousins makes for an interesting pivot off of a higher owned Wentz. Tom Brady at 5.8K. So it's kind of crazy that he is the cheapest quarterback on this wild card slate. I'm fine if you want to go there for salary relief, but I don't know if he has the huge upside right now. And that's it for quarterbacks. So again, brief overview. I think it's Drew Brees probably my top option. I think Wentz would probably be number 2, and then maybe Kirk Cousins and Russell Wilson there for 3rd probably. But let's move on to running back. So Derrick Henry at 8.2K. I know he's been great. He had that huge game against Houston, over 200 yards. I think he's going to be really popular because 3 of the last 4 games, 27, 26, and 42 fantasy points. You have to take a stand somewhere on a short slate like this, and I think this is where I'm planting my flag and taking a stand. I will be fading Derrick Henry. It's a really bad spot. Now I know he's gonna be the workhorse. He's gonna get his carries no matter what. But the one downside you can say about Derrick Henry is he doesn't get involved in the pass game. But if Tennessee does somehow, if they get out to an early lead, that would be great game script for Derrick Henry. But there's a chance it could fall behind early, and I wouldn't say they would necessarily phase him out because he's just such a huge part of the offense. But they would probably be asked to rely more on the passing game a little bit more. So yeah, like I said, you have to take a stand somewhere on a short slate like this. I'm going to take a stand, and I'm going to say I'm fading Derrick Henry. I know he's going to be popular for cash games. I'm fine if you get to him, but I will be fading him on this wildcard slate. Hopefully he doesn't go off. We'll see. But yeah, that's where I'm kind of planting my flag. Dalvin Cook at 7.8K, I think makes for an interesting GPP play. He's been banged up, missed the last couple games, but looks like he's gonna be good to go. He practiced fully, and yeah, the reason I think he's more of a contrarian option is because again, dealing with the injury, the previous few games he wasn't great, but what we know is he is a workhorse, and it's the playoffs. I'd assume, even if he's dealing with the shoulder injury, that he's going to be used as a workhorse back. And you got Derrick Henry for $400 more, who I think is going to eat up way more ownership. So if you want a pivot, I don't mind Dalvin Cook at all there. Alvin Kamara at 7.4K. I like the price on him a good amount. The downside for him is he's never going to get 25 touches, but he is a guy that will make the most of it. He gets involved a lot in the passing game, and again, Minnesota's been really struggling defensively. So if you want to go the full-on Saints stack, which I think is viable, right? Playing BREES, Michael Thomas, KAMARA, no issue with that. I think KAMARA stands out as a pretty good play at that price. Miles Sanders, so this is pretty significant news. He is questionable. He has missed the last couple of games. He says he thinks he's going to be good to go. We'll see. If he plays, I think he stands out as a good play at that price, but obviously there is risk, playing through that ankle injury. If he misses, we could look at a guy like Bart Scott, who got a lot of work that last game. He got involved a lot in the passing game, which is good to see. So if Miles Sanders gets ruled out, I think Boston Scott, I should say, gets a pretty big boost there. Let's see. As far as the Patriots running backs go, James White at 5.7K, I think makes for an interesting tournament play. If you think the Patriots are going to be playing from behind in this one, that's when you want to target James White. If you think they're going to be playing from ahead, that's when you want to target Sony Michel. So, yeah, like I said, James White will not be involved a lot in the running game, but if they're playing from behind, he's going to be utilized a lot. Sony Michel doesn't get involved a lot in the passing game, but if they're playing from ahead, he will get, probably 15 to 20 touches. So it's whether or not you think New England is going to be trailing or if they're going to have the lead. Let's see, Travis Homer here at 5.3. I think makes for an interesting play. Now, again, Seattle's super banged up at the running back position. No Carson, no Penny. They have him and MARSHAWN LYNCH. MARSHAWN LYNCH is more of the plotter, right, the short yardage guy, but Homer is a guy that they've been utilizing a lot in the passing game the last couple of games. 8 targets and 5 targets through the air. So I think he's very much in play at that price. MARSHAWN LYNCH at 5.2, so I just think I would prefer Homer because I think his upside is a little bit higher since he gets involved more in the passing game. Again, MARSHAWN LYNCH I think is going to be more of that short down back. Carlos Hyde at 5.1, don't see myself getting there. Latavius at 5K. Did get a decent amount of work that last game, but I don't think he has the upside at that price. Jordan Howard, I think is more of a dart throw. He said Doug Peterson expects him to have a role. We don't really know what that role is going to be. And at 4.9K, I just don't see myself taking a shot there. Madison Boone with Dalvin Cook back, you can't go there. Burkhead, probably not for me. Duke Johnson at 4.4. If you think Houston's playing from behind, you can go there, but I don't think we have to do that. Frank Gore, not for me. Abdullah, not for me. So that is really it for running backs. Again, I'm going to be playing my flag. I'm going to fade Derrick Henry. I think he's going to be pretty high owned. So if you're playing cash games, you can definitely go there. I think Cook's an interesting pivot off of him. I like KAMARA. And then, Scott, if Sanders is out, I think with Sanders is a good play. I didn't talk about Devin Singletary, actually. 6K. He stands out as a pretty solid option. If you're going to be targeting Josh Allen, if you're playing Josh Allen, I probably wouldn't play Devin Singletary too. I think both those guys kind of limit each other's upside. Because if Josh Allen's going to have a rushing touchdown on the ground, that means Devin Singletary probably won't have a huge game. So, I think if you're going to play one of those Buffalo guys with Josh Allen, a quarterback, or Singletary, a running back, I don't think I would play both. But that's really it for running backs. So let's move on to wide receiver. Again, Michael Thomas is the clear-cut spend up, obviously. We know he just gets targeted so much. There's really not a whole lot of downside to say about him besides the price, I guess. Drew Brees at home. We know the upside is huge on Michael Thomas. The target should be there. Minnesota really struggling defensively. So if you have the salary, 100% you can go Michael Thomas. Hopkins, I think, is more of just an interesting contrarian play. He's going to be super low-owned, a tough spot. I think he's more of a contrarian play. A.J. Brown at 7.4K has flashed a lot of upside recently here, and he's probably going to have a big game if Tennessee's going to have a shot in this one. So don't mind him at that price, but probably not going to get there personally. Let's see. The 2 Seattle receivers, the Lockett and DK Metcalf, I think are very much viable, kind of in the mid-range. DK Metcalf has been involved a lot in the red zone. He's been a little bit more up and down. Tyler Lockett obviously is a little bit more expensive, but he's been a little bit more consistent. So either of those guys, if you want to go to one of those Seattle guys and pair him with Russell Wilson, I think that is very much viable. And then the 2 Minnesota receivers I think are very interesting as well, with Stephon Diggs and Adam Thielen. Again, this is a game where they should be playing from behind in, should be good game script, playing in the dome. So Diggs and Thielen I think are very much in play than mid-range. Thielen, I think, is going to go a lot lower owned because he's been dealing with the injury. Hasn't had a great game recently, where Diggs is kind of been more carrying the load. So I think he's going to be a lot more popular compared to Thielen. Let's see. Julian Edelman is questionable, but I assume he's going to go. It's Julian Edelman. He's been banged up all season, but he always seems to be able to give it a go. I think he is. I think he's a pretty solid option here for if you're, you could always run the Julian Edelman Tom Brady stack, right? Tom Brady, the cheapest quarterback of the day. I think Julian Edelman is a bit underpriced, and him playing in the slot, we know he's going to get targeted a bunch. So I'm perfectly fine if you land on Edelman there in the mid range. Let's see, the 2 Buffalo receivers with Brown and Beasley are fine. I think I would prefer guys similar price to them, like Metcalf, like the 2 Minnesota receivers. But if you feel strongly about John Brown and Beasley, you can go there. And if you're playing Josh Allen, you're probably going to want to pair him with at least one of those guys. Greg Ward at 5.2K. So Philadelphia has just been completely banged up with their receiving corps, even with their tight ends. So he has really stepped up here recently. I think Let me go to Philadelphia really quick. So we have Alshon and DeShaun Jackson on IR with AGHOLOR is questionable. He has not practiced. Looking like he's probably not going to go. So Greg Ward is literally the only man standing there for Philadelphia in their wide receiving corps. So even at the elevated price point for him, I think he is a pretty solid play there in the mid tier. Will Fuller, 4.9K. He's just a guy that's always injured. I think he's just more of a GPP dart throw at this price. I do like the price, but he's always injured. Now, if he does play, I think that would open it up a little bit more for a guy like DeAndre Hopkins. But yeah, I just see him more as a contrarian option. Same thing with Kenny Stills. Don't see myself getting there. As far as the cheaper wide receivers, the two other New England receivers, Sanu and Harry, are fine. Traquan Smith, a 4K, okay. I think Corey Davis stands out as a pretty good option there, 3.8K. 4, 6, 4, and 5 targets. Not a guy that has huge upside, but probably isn't be the number 2 there in the offense, besides behind A.J. Brown. So I think he stands out as a pretty good play there at that price. Ted Ginn Jr., I mean, you could always take a shot there for GPPs. He's very, very boom or bust, but he is a guy that can get you like a long touchdown catch. J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, if AGHOLOR gets ruled out, you can look to him. He'd probably be the number 2 receiver, but they're really just been utilizing Ward and the 2 tight ends. So that's one where you can take a shot there if AGHOLOR's out. That's basically it for wide receivers. So let's move on to tight end. So obviously the 2 top targets here are Ertz and Goddard. Again, Philadelphia is so banged up with the wide receiving corps that these guys have been flashed a lot of upside. Ertz is dealing with an injury himself. I assume he's going to be good to go against the playoffs. Goddard has been great. Again, they've just been super, super banged up. 12 and 10 targets last couple games. So if you have the salary to get to those tight ends, I think that they stand out as really solid tournament plays because just because they're super, super banged up in their wide receiving corps. Jared Cook, more of a contrarian option at that price. If you want a cheap exposure to that to the Pelicans, to the Saints offense, you could go to Cook, right? If you can't afford Michael Thomas or KAMARA, I don't mind pairing BREES with Jared Cook. Hollister's okay at 4.3K. Let's see, Rudolph at 3.5. Just a guy that you kind of got to get lucky and hope he gets like a touchdown catch. Other than that, he really has not been involved a lot in the passing game. Dawson, like these cheaper tight ends, again, you kind of got to get lucky. Hope they land in the end zone. Dawson Knox, not a guy that gets involved a whole lot in the passing game. I think Atkins actually stands out as a decent value option. He gets, he had a 9, 2, 2, and 7 targets. So at least you can get like 5 to 10 targets from him. And at 2.8K, it would open up to get like other guys, other studs in your lineup. So I actually don't mind Atkins there as a cheaper option. But I think that is really it for tight ends. So obviously the clear-cut targets there are Ertz and Goddard if you can afford them. I think Cook is more of a contrarian play. If you can't spend up for Michael Thomas and KAMARA, I don't mind him. Hollister's okay. Smith is okay at their price. Rudolph, probably not for me. I think probably my favorite cheap play would be Atkins. And yeah, that's really what I got here for tight ends. So let's talk about defense and I can get out of here. I think right now my favorite defense would probably be the Texans, just taking salary into consideration. 2.6K, a home defense. That game is what, the lowest over under, right? Yeah, the lowest over under of the 4 games. And I just feel more comfortable targeting the home defenses. So I think the Texans probably be my preferred play. I think the Patriots, if you're spending up, are fine. But again, that's whether or not you have the salary. So again, I think the Texans would be my preferred play. But yeah, I think that is going to do it for today's video, guys. So again, a brief overview. Right now, I think I'm leaning more towards the Saints stack with like Drew Brees, pair him either with Michael Thomas or KAMARA, and then maybe run it back with one of those Minnesota receivers. I think that's going to be the way that I go. Also, don't mind Carson Wentz if you want to pair him with one of those tight ends with Ertz and Goddard. Again, they're super banged up in their wide receiving corps. But I think those would probably be the two ways I would go, either playing Drew Brees and pairing him with Thomas and KAMARA, and then running back one of those Minnesota receivers, or going with Carson Wentz there and pairing him with one of those tight ends. But yeah, like I said, I think that's enjoyed today's video, guys. So if you have been enjoying the content, would really appreciate it if you could like this video and subscribe. And again, if you want to get entered in the giveaway, all you do is a like and a comment in the videos if you want to enter the giveaway. I'll be back for another video to break down, I guess, next week's playoff games. If you're interested in NBA content, I make NBA videos every single day. But thanks again for having to come and check out the video, guys, and I will see you later.